get asked how one can create an organic vegetable garden in a small area, and I have the perfect solution for you. I'm going to show you today how to create raised beds. Now they're really simple and easy to do. You just have to remember they've got to be 15 centimeters high minimum and 1 to 1.2 meters wide. And the reason for that is so that you can comfortably stretch in, harvest your vegetables or plant your seeds and seedlings. You can either create a raised bed in an established garden like this one, or you can make an entire garden using raised beds. What I have here is a 1 square meter raised bed which I built a few days ago. It's 17 centimeters high. I added homemade organic compost and I've planted about 25 shallow rooted crops in here. The beauty about raised beds is that you can put them on any surface. This took me about 4 hours from start to finish. My pak choi and lettuce I'm going to be able to harvest in about 2 weeks, and I've added chives and variegated thyme as my companion plants so that they chase away the bugs. And now I'm going to show you how to make your own raised bed. I've chosen this spot in the garden to put this raised bed because I thought it would provide some aesthetic appeal. The rest of the garden is flat and this just raises things a little bit. What I've done here is I've got a 1 square meter bed. I've got 4 wooden pegs that I've placed in the corners, and I've screwed the planks into the side of each of the corner pegs. That is creating quite a stable box, and that's really all you need. Then I've put black agricultural plastic, and I've done that to line the wood so it prevents water damage. What I've done is I've already filled this bed with homemade organic compost. The beauty about organic compost is that you can plant directly into it. You don't have to worry about getting your plants burnt at all. So I'm starting off with kohlrabi. Quite an unusual vegetable. Not a lot of people use it, but it's great. Once it's grown, it looks a bit like a Sputnik. I mean, look at that. And you just grate it in your cabbage salad. It's delicious. You need about 20 centimeters between each plant. So I've got enough space here for 5 plants. Let's get planting. Can you see that I put water in the hole first before I planted the seedling? And the reason why I do that is so that the plant can get its water as soon as it goes into the soil. Right, so the next hole I'm going to make here, pouring in my water first. There you go, covering it up. There you go. It's always really important to label your beds. You want to see what's growing there. I like to use my used packets because it shows me exactly what's growing there, and it kind of gives the bed a bit of an appeal, don't you think? I've got some mixed lettuce here, and this lettuce is quite special because it's particular for winter season. So I'm going to plant them now in autumn. The good thing about lettuce is the crop is quite a shallow rooted crop, so you can plant them really tightly together. Go. A great tip that I have, I use my hand as a measurement for distance. I know that from the base of my palm to the tip of my middle finger is 17 centimeters, and that's about as far as I want my lettuce plants to be. The good thing about lettuce, especially this variety, this is called cut and come again lettuce. And what that means is that you can harvest the leaves around the center point. The center point is the growing point, and you never want to damage that point. So in about 2 weeks' time, these will be big enough for me to start harvesting the leaves from the outer part of the plant. I'm really excited for that. You know, lettuce is such a staple when it comes to eating lunch. You can always have it with salads, and you can do lots of things with lettuce. Some people even make lettuce soup. I must say, I've never tried that myself, but apparently it's quite delicious. I'm planting Swiss chard. South Africans commonly call this spinach, and I'm using my favorite variety. This is a little bit different from the normal one. You can see that the stem is much thicker, and the reason why I like this plant is because it seems to grow for about 3 to 4 seasons. I can start harvesting from in about, I'd say, 3 weeks' time, but this plant will just carry on growing for another 3 seasons. And that will give me enough Swiss chard for my juices for a long time. There you go. And now we're going to plant up with our chives. The reason why I'm planting chives particularly is because I'm planting them next to my carrots, and chives are a great companion plant for carrots because it chases away the carrot root fly. Can you see? That's a bit root bound. Now, when you get something like this, all you have to do is break off some of the roots, loosen them up. I know it seems quite cruel, but it will help the plant in the long run. There you go. You can plant these quite close together. So I'm going to just do a 10 centimeter gap between each plant. So my raised bed is looking great. And lastly, what I'm going to plant is carrot seeds. You'll notice that I'm going to plant the carrot seeds and not the seedlings. And the reason for that is you cannot transplant carrot seedlings. You have to plant your carrots from seed in situ. In other words, in the place they're going to stay until they mature and you harvest them. So I'm going to start off by creating a shallow furrow just with my fingers, and I'm going to use this great little contraption. It's called a magic seeder. You know, carrot seeds are so small and we tend to waste a lot of them. So these little magic seeders are really handy because it prevents you from wasting your seeds. There you go. You tilt it slightly to an angle and you press the top, just like an injection. I'm planting these about 5 centimeters apart. And the reason for that is if you have more than one carrot seedling growing, you will need to thin it out. In other words, you'll need to remove all the seedlings barring one. Carrots don't like to be planted too close together because otherwise the root, it twines together. There you go. Now I'm going to cover this up gently, and now I'm going to water everything to make sure that they soaked, because after the watering I'm going to do the most important thing, and that is putting my mulch on top. 5 to 7 centimeters of mulch on your soil, and never leave any soil bare. As you can see, we've covered our bed in mulch, but we've left the strip over here. And the reason is I don't want to cover this area with mulch because it will be a big problem for my seedlings that are going to eventually emerge. When your carrot seedlings do emerge, when they're about 3 centimeters tall, you need to thin them out. Remember, you take away from one seedling, you only need to leave one seedling there to grow, and then you must mulch. Otherwise, the soil around the seedlings will dry up, and that's not good for your plants at all. I've taken extra precaution here because I just know that the birds are going to have a field day. So what I've done is I've placed these metal stakes, 3 on either side, at 50 centimeters apart, and I'm going to get 25 millimeter PVC piping and place it over each metal stake in an arch, and I'm going to put my bird netting over that so that the birds can't get into my crops until I need to harvest them, and then I'm obviously going to remove it. Voila, there you have it, your raised bed. It took me 4 hours to do this whole thing. My organic seedlings are tucked away, nice and safe, and all I have to do is wait for them to grow. In no time at all, I'll be harvesting these for my salads. I can't wait. If you've got more space, you can add on as time goes by. It will also give your crops a chance to mature at different rates. I hope we've motivated you to go and build your own raised beds, and you'll be harvesting your own greens in no time at all.